everyone, it's Narelle from Simply Stamping with Narelle here, and I just wanted to show you how I made this card. This card's on my blog today, and it uses the Avant Garden Celebration set and also a little bit of the Delicate Details. Both of these are celebration items, free with a qualifying order until the end of March 2017. So if you don't have an order in and you want these, then feel free to order from me and I will make sure you get these in the mail ASAP. Alright, so for this card, all I've done is use a scrap piece of paper to stamp the Avant Garden flowers in a diagonal. So I'll just, any normal paper, this is an order copy. All I've done is put this across at an angle and then stamped the flowers. So the angle I'm probably going to do now is going to be different to the angle on what I've already done on that card, because nothing ever happens the same twice. I've got a tip for you too. These photopolymer stamps, when they get long and skinny like this, sometimes it's easy when you're putting them on to curve them, or they're not really straight. So an easy way to make sure they're straight is just to lay them on your work surface, just down like that. They'll naturally fall in the right way, so they'll be straight, and then just get your block to the stamp and then you have a perfectly straight stamp on your block. But first I'm going to start with the Avant Garden. I've used Sweet Sugar Plum and Calypso Coral to stamp the flowers. All I've done is stamped in full strength either side of the angle there, and then I've stamped off when I've done these ones. So you just got to make sure you don't move this bit of paper, and if you do, then it's really not a disaster because you can line it back up easily. Now another tip is when you're using photopolymer stamps, if you're on a table like mine, which is the Bunnings or Cheapos folding tables, they can bounce a bit and the photopolymer stamps don't always stamp properly. So to eliminate that, I put my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath, and just gives it a more firmer, stable background to stamp on. So I just grabbed the Avant Garden stamp with the Sweet Sugar Plum and just stamp a few times. Okay, now I'm going to clean that off, and then we're going to swap to the Calypso Coral, making sure you don't move your paper. So lean on it so it doesn't move. Grab your Calypso Coral, and again in full strength. Okay, now I think I want another Sweet Sugar Plum in there. So we'll just do a few there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my paper around, line it up, and then make sure it's lined up, and then come down. Doesn't matter how long you bring it down, that will just determine on how wide your birthday banner is. And now you're going to stamp again, only a few this time, in full strength. And then clean it, don't move your paper. Next colour, Calypso Coral. And now we want to fill in with some lighter ones. So I'm going to stamp off so I don't have as much ink on my flower, and then do a few on the next row. So what this is meant to look like in the end is a hanging basket of flowers, and the happy birthday banner is like the rim of the pot, and it's at a bit of an angle just for something different. So I'm going to stamp off the Sweet Sugar Plum just to get a paler look for this row. Okay, so I've got enough in the Sweet Sugar Plum. Now I will wipe it and do the Calypso Coral, and I'm going to stamp off twice this time so I get it even paler again. And then one more of the sweet sugar plum, and stamped off twice. Okay, so hopefully that looks like the card that I have on my blog today. I'm going to add in the little stamens in the middle of those flowers now. I've used sweet sugar plum, no sorry, soft suede for that. Okay, line your paper up again because you don't want the stamens to go across your happy birthday banner. And where you have the full strength flowers, you want a full strength stamen. Okay, turn it over and we have some full strength stamens here. Okay, now these ones down here are stamped off once. So again, you do the same with the stamen. Ink it up, stamp it off once, and ink up your flowers. Okay, if ever you get ink around your block like that, you're playing with fire, and that's probably going to transfer to your card. So wipe it as you go. The reason to get that is either your block is too small, too big for your stamp, or you're pushing too hard into the stamp pad, which is, I have a bad habit of doing that. So if ever you see that, you must clean it off, or you will end up with ink where you don't want it to go. Okay, that was all. That was right. So these ones were stamped off twice, so we're going to stamp the same off twice just so that they don't stand out. You'll see on my card I have on my blog today, and the sample card, I actually didn't do that. And when I looked at it, I went, oh, something's not right. And then I realized what it was. But never mind. These things happen. Right, so now we're going to do the happy birthday across the middle. Just get your delicate details, whatever one you want, ink it up. Now it won't reach the whole way across, so you'll have to join it. Sorry if my head gets in the way. It doesn't matter if it doesn't join perfectly. Okay, now you will get some overstamping on your mat. That doesn't matter, it just wipes off with a baby wipe. If you don't like using the wet surface, then turn it over and then you're good to go. Okay, the stamp set I've used for the happy birthday is Confetti Celebration. That's in the annual catalogue, and I've just used this happy birthday here. And I've done that in Sweet Sugar Plum. Now because this is not a photopolymer stamp, it's a red rubber stamp, you've got to try your best to get it lined up. So you start with having it lined up straight on the block. And then always do a test stamp first. So test on your scratch paper so that if you have the block lined up straight, to see if the stamp is actually lined up straight on the block. And that looks pretty good. So all I did was start in the middle. Sorry if my head gets in the way. And I just did a continual happy birthday, no stamping off. And I went for like a zigzag look so it's not perfectly lined up. And then if I make any mistakes, it sort of is covered up, isn't it? Oh, and look, those three lined up perfectly. Never mind. And you see down here, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to show you my pulse. Down here, I have a little bit of ink because I didn't check that my block was clean. But I'm sure the person who gets this card will not mind. They'll think it's quite pretty. And then the last thing I did was add on some enamel shapes. So these are self-adhesive, absolutely wonderful. And I've only got a few left, so I'll just use some sparingly. Oops. On my card on my blog, I've actually got the 2 different colours, but I'm out of the Calypso corals. So we'll just put some sweet sugar plum on, scatter them around. Okay, and there you have the card that's on my blog. Slightly different happy birthday on this one to that one. A few more flowers on this one than that one, and different embellishments. But that is how you make that card. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you'll make a card like this soon. Thank you for watching.